Hello guys, it's me again, Julie. So now let's talk about setting up a recurring transaction in QuickBooks Online. All right. So you have to be aware that in business, around 80% of most clients' transactions are the same each month. But clients usually can't spare the time to manually check or add and categorize these regular transactions. And in many cases, the rules feature in QuickBooks Online can help clients customize and automate data from bank feeds. However, if your client has transactions such as bills that occur regularly, they may prefer to automate these transactions rather than processing them manually each time. QuickBooks Online's recurring transactions feature makes creating and saving templates with the information needed for regular transactions easy. So, with this feature, clients can create recurring transactions to manage most transactions in any workflow, including sales receipts, invoices, bills, entries, checks, deposits, or expenses. And the recurring transactions feature in QuickBooks Online is a great way for clients to automatically record payments and receipts that occur at regular intervals and in fixed amounts. And a recurring transaction can be set up in QuickBooks Online to occur on a scheduled or unscheduled basis, or just a reminder for you or the client. Once the client has set up the parameters for the recurring transaction, QuickBooks Online will automate the process. Clients can also use an existing recurring transaction as a template for creating others of a similar nature, and recurring transactions can be used to record money out transactions such as rental or insurance payments. They can also be used for money in transactions. For example, a client who provides regular fixed price services such as weekly lawn mowing can set up a recurring transaction to automatically send invoices or sales receipts to their customers. All right, so now let's discuss what are the list of transaction types that can be used in recurring transactions to record. So I have here prepared list. So we have here the list of a transactions that can be used as a recurring transaction to record in QuickBooks Online. So we have here the bill, non-posting charge or delayed charge, the check, non-posting credit, credit card credit, credit memo, deposit, estimate, expense, invoice, journal entry, refund, sales receipt, transfer, vendor credit, and purchase order. And also, we have here the type of transactions that cannot be used as a recurring transaction to record. So, the transaction types that clients can set up to be that cannot be set up to be a recurring transaction in QuickBooks Online are the bill payments, customer payments, time activities, pay down credit card type transactions, and inventory adjustments. And also, what are the benefits of using recurring transactions? So, some of the benefits of using recurring transactions are that clients can use them to first automate money out transactions that are paid at regular intervals and for fixed amounts. Second, automatically invoice customers for regular services provided at fixed prices. Third, set up invoices to include unbilled charges and automatically send emails. Fourth, record non-posting transactions such as purchase orders or estimates. And the last one, they can use recurring sales receipts with QuickBooks payments. All right. So, what should you bear in mind when using recurring transactions? So, you should bear in mind that clients should review their recurring transactions. This is very important, guys. This is something that you have to really remember every time you do a recurring transaction. So, clients should review their recurring transactions. The reason is for them to ensure they avoid sending out automated invoices for canceled or delayed works. Or so there might be some time that a work can be canceled or might be delayed. So it is very important that your clients should always review their recurring transactions. And also note that a customer, a vendor, an employee, products or services, or an account cannot be deleted if they are being used on a recurring transactions. All right, so that's those are the things that we have to be aware of about making a recurring transaction in QuickBooks Online. All right, so now let's dive into our sample QuickBooks account. So now let's go set up a recurring transaction in our QuickBooks Online account. So from here in our gear icon, then click recurring transactions from the list tab. Alright, so then here click new tab, and then here from the transaction type drop down, select the type of transaction that you will going to make as a recurring transaction. For this case, for our case, we're going to use an expense recurring transaction. Then when you're done, click OK. And in the template name box here, you can easily you can put here a name for someone that or for your customer or for your vendor that you are making a recurring transaction for. So enter an easily identifiable name for the recurring transaction. Like for example, in our case, it is an insurance expense for Brosnahan Insurance Agency. So for us to practice doing um, naming the template, you have to name it after your customer or your vendor. It is really a best practice to include the name of the vendor, the customer, or an employee that the recurring transaction concerns. So in our case, we will just input here Brosnahan monthly insurance. Alright, so here from the type drop down, you can select here either scheduled, reminder, or unscheduled type of transaction. But in our case, we will going to choose scheduled. And here in the next box, it says here create how many days in advance this recurring transaction. So we will going to just input here at least 3 days in advance to create this transaction. And in the next box here, you can choose here the payee. Your payee, since this is a monthly insurance expense, we will choose here the payee of Brosnahan Insurance Agency. And the account type is checking. So you can choose any of these that are listed here on QuickBooks Online, but in our case, we'll just choose here checking. And in the interval section, use the drop downs to adjust the required frequency. So in our case, we are creating a monthly recurring transaction with a payment due on the fourth day of the month. So let's you can choose here daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. Since this transaction is a monthly transaction, we will choose here monthly and here day. So since we will going to um, record the transaction for the fourth day of every month, so we'll just choose here day and the fourth number of the month. And here on the next box, since this is a monthly insurance expense, so we will just leave here the number 1 in the box. So that means that this transaction is every month. All right. So here at the start date, like for example, now is the start date, and in the end date, here end date drop down, either specify when the recurring transaction should end or select none. So here, so in our case, we're just select none. And here on our category details, add the details of the item. The transaction is for. So this transaction is for insurance, an insurance expense. So let's select here insurance. So it is an expense. And right here the description, just input here monthly insurance payment. All right. So input the amount, like for example, it costs $90. So there you go. So when you're done, just select save template. All right, so that's it. Recurring expense is now saved. So that's how easily to set up a recurring transaction in QuickBooks Online. All right, so thank you very much for watching this video.